that you have all of your patterns. Front right, front center, front left, front facing. Back left center, back right center, back right. Back facing. Right sleeve, left sleeve. On the front panels, mark out all the notches according to the paper pattern. Sew the front right and front center panels together. Also sew the front left and front panels together, making sure to match up the notches as you go. Sew them together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. On the back panels, mark out the notches according to the paper pattern. Do not sew along the center back. Sew the left panels together and the right panels together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, making sure to match up the notches. Sew the front and back panels together along one shoulder seam and both side seams with a 1 cm seam allowance. Fold up the hem by 1.5 cm and iron well. Then top stitch 1 cm from the folded edge. Fold the left sleeve into half and sew along the side seam with a 1 cm seam allowance. Fold the right sleeve into half and sew along the side seam with a 1 cm seam allowance. Fold up with a 1.5 cm seam allowance, then top stitch 1 cm from the folded edge. On the left sleeve, mark out the notches. Add a crimping stitch along the sleeve crown. Sew the left sleeve to the left armhole with a 1 cm seam allowance, focusing most of the ease along the shoulder seam. Sew the right sleeve to the right armhole with a 1 cm seam allowance. Attach the front and back facings together along the shoulder seam with a 1 cm seam allowance. Sew the facing to the neckline with a 1 cm seam allowance. On the left-hand side, match up the shoulder seams. On the right-hand side, fold the sleeve into half and match half of the sleeve to the seam of the facing. Make sure to check before sewing that the edge of the facing aligns perfectly to the center back. Grab a pair of scissors and snip into the seam allowances to reduce the tension. Spread open the facing and understitch on the facing, making sure to catch onto the seam allowances below. Starting from the notch all the way down and stopping exactly at the notch. To finish up the top of the zip, flip down the facing. Then sew a vertical line down on the outside of the zip teeth. Repeat for the other side. Flip the facing down. Then sew a vertical line. Turn it inside out and check that the zip is working perfectly fine and that the top of the zips are aligned. Make any corrections if necessary. If all looks well, grab a pair of scissors and trim away some of the seam allowances to reduce the bulk. Repeat for the other side. Then turn it back inside out and iron well. To secure the fabric surrounding the zipper, top stitch 0.5 cm from the seam. This prevents the fabric from getting caught in the zip. Top stitch around the zip. And there you have it. Your dress is completed.